Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we are going to talk about how you can create your own self-hosted link shortener. Maybe you're a blogger, a business person, or somebody who just likes to share a lot of links. And you'd like to see, is that effective? You'd like to just have the ability to create those. And so I kind of learned that this system existed because I had a need to shorten some links. And I was like, out of convenience, before I've used the Google link shortener, but they actually closed that down. The control panel, I think the links will still keep working, but you can't add any new ones. Nobody can create new accounts and things like that. So some of the ones that are out there, like Bitly was one of them. There's a few that are out there still that exist, but a lot of them that exist will they'll intermediate between a lot of ads. They're kind of spammy and things like that. And so I was looking for a solution that would help me out in what I was doing. And so I eventually came up with, I found this system called YourLS, which is an open source project. You can download it on GitHub and you can host it on your own control panel. Now, I recommend a couple different web hosting companies. There's a few that I recommend you avoid if you're looking to buy a hosting company. And I will go ahead and put my affiliate links in the description down here below. And at the end of the video, I'll tell you which are the ones that I choose and why. First, let me show you the system that I built and how it's working for me. So this is actually mine. So of course I launched my own platform which combines all of my channels in one, which is a support hub. And basically I wanted to create link shorteners that can be linked to all of those. So the website is called Think Life Media. And so I wanted to come up with a good way to shorten links. And I found that tlm.li as a domain name was still available. These domain name cost generally about $12 or so a year right now. Now, I actually bought tlml.link initially, which I was going to use, and I'm like, that's still a little bit too long, and I forgot to even look for the .lis. So I'm really happy with the domain name I have, and what we're going to do on this one is we're going to show you how to create this yourself, and I'm going to use that tlml.link domain. So this is my control panel, and of course I have a couple pages of these links here. And what this is, what you're looking at here is what is the link, where is the original link to. The IP address is the IP address that created the link. In this case, they're all mine and they're blurred out. The date is when it was created, and I like the fact that I can sort these low to high to clicks, the dates, the original URLs, all that kind of stuff. So of course I did the video on the VPNs, the top 5 reasons to use a VPN, which linked to the 2 VPN providers. I'm actually using this mostly for my affiliates. Now the major advantage of this that's way better than the Google ones or any of the other ones that are out there is I have the ability to choose what my custom short URL is, or I can just have the system produce one randomly. So in my case, I've actually attached all of these to their own system. That makes a lot more sense. And so I can remember easily what these are. tlm.li/PIA gets you my affiliate link for private internet access. Same thing, .nord gets you access to my Nord. So then I've also created one of these for my Patreon link, which has been visited. Now the cool thing here is I can see some analytics. Now I will say that the database actually does collect the IP address. I want to work on a script that will clear that every day because I don't want to store people's IP addresses. I do like the region though, and it does appear that the region, basically what happens is that when it gets the IP, it logs the country and the hit, but the IP address is separate. So I can safely remove the IP addresses. But I never actually see those. So if I click in on these statistics here, I can actually see, here's the short link if I want to copy it, the long URL here, and then this is either all time or the last 24 hours. So I can see in the last 24 hours, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had 5 hits in the last 24 hours. Of course, that's listed right here. Last 7 days, last 30 days. Of course, I can go all time and see where this was linked as well. So you can actually link these onto your blog posts, for example, and have a better system without utilizing Google Analytics to figure out approximately how many people are linking on them. So here is our location. So here I can see the various countries. and the color map to see which countries are clicking on things. And then here is United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Croatia, and India each have a hit. And then the traffic sources. So I have here the specific YouTube, and this one particular video gives me one, and then this video gives me another one. So you can kind of see that it's giving us decent direct versus referrals there. And of course here I can grab my, this is my link to share. So of course you just enter something up here, and I'll show you how this works here in a bit. So this is what we are creating. Of course, you can theme all this. It's possible to create a front page where somebody else could create one. That is actually disabled by default in the system because it is a huge security concern. So we're not going to show you how to do that. I'm basically just going to show you how to create this, host this, install it. It's very easy. I actually learned this existed, downloaded it, bought my domain, set up my hosting, and got it installed and working in about 20 minutes. So this is very easy. So of course you need a domain name, and you need a domain name, and you need a hosting account. So the ones that I would recommend, of course, A2 Hosting and SiteGround. I also have DigitalOcean and InMotion. We'll go ahead and look at InMotion hosting as well at the end here. But first, let's go ahead and have a look at how to make this happen. So you need to grab the, link to this. So I'll go ahead and have the link in the description down below. I'm not going to short link this one. I'm just going to go ahead and use the regular short links, but you can go ahead and grab this. You can come over here, grab the source code in either a zip or a tar.gz. And of course, there's a couple different versions out there as well that tells you all the different things about it. All right, so then what I did is I created a hosting account, and you want to get one that has cPanel. And so here is our cPanel control panel here. And with our cPanel control panel, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to come in here, and the first thing you're going to do is create your database. So of course I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use my database wizard because it is the easiest one to use. So I have to create a SQL database. So let's just go ahead and grab something. Let's just call it ShortDB, just for example. Okay, and what I generally do is I make sure my database and my user is the same. It's just saved a couple steps later. So go ahead and do that, create my user. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab this, because what it does on a typical cPanel account, of course, it depends on who's your hosting company, but on a typical cPanel account, it'll kind of give you your username, underscore, and then your database name for both of those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, this is actually the control panel access, which is going to be deleted by the time you ever see this video, so I don't care. All right, so that is my database and my username, and then hit your generate password. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Once that is saved, copy it, and then you can use the password, create the user, give it all privileges. Okay, so now that is essentially the first step we need to do. The next thing we need to do is you need to be working with a FTP account. I'm just going to go ahead and use the default on most cPanels, as long as you know your IP address, which you can get from your hosting company. You need your cPanel username and your cPanel address there. Actually, it occurred to me you can't see those. I showed that on the screen, but you can't see those. That's okay. Perfect. Wonderful. All right. So I saved those things there to a text file is what I did. And then the next thing, if you need to create an FTP account, you can actually come up here and create an FTP account here. I'm not going to bother with that step because I'm just going to use the default. So that's all you need to do for now. Your next step is going to be to download your individual, download your files and then extract your files. And then you will also need to have a FTP protocol. So I'm going to use FileZilla. Okay, so my desktop view now looks like this. I've already gone in and created my account over here, so I won't have to actually expose the password yet. We'll expose the password, so That's okay. Like I said, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete the entire control panel before any of this video is live. So what you want to do now, there's probably actually one more thing we might think about doing. The last thing we might think about doing here is we might think about using this in a subdomain. So if you want to use a subdomain, so if you already have an existing domain, you can actually create a subdomain. A subdomain is going to give you maybe shortener.yourdomain.com, or you can do an add-on domain. So the difference is if you buy an add-on domain, you can add this as a separate account onto your hosting account. So yourdomain.com and your shortenerdomain.com will be two separate websites all running on the same control panel. Not every hosting account supports this. Okay, so you have to double check to make sure you have the right hosting account. A subdomain will always work. This will give you another domain. Of course, that means that you don't necessarily have a short domain, but if all you're doing is using this to link your blog posts and get statistics, that will actually work just fine. You don't even need the shortened domain name. But you can also do the add-on domain, in which case you just add your new domain. And then, you know, like maybe you got short.li as a domain name, you can go ahead and use that. And then basically that's just going to get you your your main account. So you would see either if you're doing this as your main root domain, whatever's in your public HTML is going to be there. If it is a subdomain, depending on the hosting account, the subdomain will either be in your public HTML or it will be one up. This is A2 hosting on a VPS. Theirs are going to be above the public HTML. Most hosting accounts that I've seen on your shared systems as well will be inside your public HTML. It just kind of depends on how your hosting company is set up. Okay, so what you need to do is we have your file and we want to extract it. And then inside of here, we need to go into our user and you see this config sample.php. We want to paste this as config.php. Just get rid of the sample. Or you can just delete, use the sample and get rid of it. So with this, we're just going to go ahead and open this with a text editor. And then inside the text editor, there are a few things that you want to change. Okay, so inside of here, first we need our database username. So this is the one that will go ahead and expose this information. Remember, our username in our database is the same. And so we're going to find our, oh, my apologies. I'm used to doing this with like Bluefish Editor. You want to paste in our database username here and our database name here. Since I created those to be the same, that's all we need to do. Now we need our database password over here. So enter that over here. Okay, we want to read through everything else. On a control panel, almost always your database host is going to remain to be localhost. There might be differences to that. The database prefix, you can delete this if you want. You can leave it if you want. All this is going to do is if you happen to be utilizing a database with something else, maybe you just want to have a single database on your site, you have your WordPress set up on one site, and you want this in there and you want them to share the database, you can go ahead and do that. Just preface this with YourLS, and that will fix that. In my case, I generally prefer to run different databases for everything, so I don't care. Now, you have to have your own domain name here. If it doesn't, it's going to redirect you and yell at you. It's going to call you names. So you want to go ahead and redirect this. Now, with my hosting account here, I have free SSLs on everything, and so I use HTTPS. You could use HTTP. It really doesn't matter for this because we're not actually landing on a page, so it doesn't matter if you have HTTP or HTTPS. It doesn't matter. So we're going to do tlml.link, which is the host that I have. And that should be everything else we need. We don't really need to set up anything else. Oh, we do need to do one more. My apologies. The administrator accounts are actually in the file itself. So you can see that they have one, which is username and password. We want to change that. Let's just go ahead and do, let's just do sample user, and just don't forget what this is. So just so we don't, we're going to go ahead and throw it onto our file over here. And let's just do blah, 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 and blah, blah. There you go. So that will be our password. Of course, that's super random. Okay, so go ahead and enter that as your password. If you want to have more, you can just go ahead and delete these guys here and add more administrator accounts. And then you can always update this later. I think that's everything we need. Oh, yeah. Don't forget your fun list of things that may not be used as a shortener, which they have pre-filled for funness right there. So we have blocked those ones out. We're just going to go ahead and scroll that down to minimally expose those words on this particular channel. But it is important to know that yeah, you want to go through and populate a whole bunch of things that you never want to see as a short link. Otherwise, someone might have fun. Or your system might randomly generate the bad words. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save that particular file. And then going back to our main system here, now all we have to do is drop this into whatever directory we want the system to use, okay? You can keep these texts. I'm actually going to take these text files off just because, that's fine. I guess the robots is fine. So we're going to go ahead and copy all these guys over into our system here. So just drag and drop. It'll take just a second here because it's about 500 files or so. It's not a lot of space. All right, so we just need to play the waiting game, and then we're going to pull up another website where it's going to give us the installation script and then everything else. So at this point in here, it's simply uploading. Of course, if you are doing this on a subdomain or some other subdirectory, you just want to upload it to whatever file. You can actually load this onto just a folder on your domain if you want to use yourdomain.com/r. You can go ahead and do that. Well, that is working on its final updates. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the web browser here. Okay, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, we can go ahead and overwrite our 505. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our domain name, which in this case is tlml.link/admin. Okay, so when we go there, we are prompted with this screen here to click the button to install it. So, of course, you need to have HT access available for this, so make sure that that is there. It's going to create the tables in your database. It does create 3 tables in your database, one with the URL, one with the options, and one with the log. And then now click on the administrative. It takes us over here, and we just need to log in with our exciting password information. So I'm going to copy that, and my username was called sample user. Our password, we're just going to paste that in. So now it gives us 3 demo sample ones. We can just go ahead and delete those sample ones over here. And then now to create something, so for example, if I want to create one to my YouTube channel, I can do, let's in fact go https://youtube.com/switched-to-Linux. And then if you want to just have a random one, just go ahead and hit the shortener. It's just going to go ahead and create a random. So in this case, it just did a 1. Or if you want to do something else, maybe if you go to https://, let's do patreon.com/TOMM and give it a URL there, then it's going to give you the one that you have selected. So now if I can just click on, I have the edit button to edit it. I have the share will give us the share information. So I can just kind of copy this guy here, just kind of copy it. It's going to copy it right to the control panel. And now if I go ahead and hit that short link in, it should redirect me right to my Patreon page. So that's exactly what it does. All right. So that is how you can create it, how you can edit it. Of course, we'll go ahead and refresh that, and you'll see that we have one click linked into there. If I pull up my stats, you can see where it's from, traffic location, United States. traffic sources. There's no refer information, just because I went directly to it. So that is how you can create your very own system. So if you are looking to do something like this and you need an account, I have some affiliate links in the description down here below. You can go ahead and have a look at these guys. So A2 Hosting, this is the one that I am personally using right now. They have shared hosting, VPS hosting, reseller. A shared hosting is definitely sufficient for this, and you can get started. It's pretty cheap. So go ahead and check these guys out. Very good. You can pick up your domain over here. Maybe you want to do, I'm sure site.li is probably taken, but go ahead and do a search for whatever domain names you might want. So that's unavailable. Site.build, site.review, all those types of things are available. Let's just do 3 random ones, just see what's available. That's unavailable. Problem is finding 3-letter ones.li is actually going to be difficult. But that's com is unavailable. I'm not sure if A2 hosting is going to allow you to do li. If you actually want to, if you want me to check on a domain, I actually have probably a beefier domain reseller system. My domains cost $12.50 per year. You can contact me directly through the page and talk about it, and we can figure out if something's available for you. But that is A2 hosting. Another affiliate of mine is SiteGround. I do not personally use SiteGround right now, but we did use these for all of the websites for one organization we were dealing with, just so that we had one system. We had 0 problems with them. Their pricing is very good. Also, A2 and this also allow free SSLs. EIG companies, HostGator, Bluehost, they don't as at this time. SiteGround does, very easy to install, and it will auto-update itself for you, so you always have an SSL. Of course, you can get your shared system for as little as $4 per month. That generally is your your first year. They have cloud hosting at $80 a month. That's actually why I went with A2 for my own VPSs. They were a little cheaper at A2, and the service and quality was just as good. I also have InMotion. I've not personally used InMotion, but these guys do come highly recommended by a lot of other people in the industry. I'd like to jump on these myself and play with them for a little bit and see. But you can actually pick up these guys for like $6 a month. They do have free SSLs as well. That's your business. There's WordPress hosting. I never recommend you use WordPress hosting if you're doing a WordPress site. Just pick up a basic shared hosting panel and install WordPress through the either a script installer or just download WordPress and install it. It's actually very easy. So those are the 3 web hosting companies that I would recommend as well. There's affiliate links for them down below. Don't forget to check those out. And with everything else, check out the other links down there in the description as well. So thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.